Hello students, I don't know about you, but I always like practical class, which is don't just tell me the theory, don't just tell me the concepts, also tell me how to do it. So, I as a teacher like to focus my energies also in helping my learners do practice. So, I am going to show you in this lesson, which is titled the formats and references for a customer value proposition. I am going to show you 2 or 3 formats in which it can be thought and written. So, a proposition is really about putting it together. We have so far covered what is value, how is customer value defined, what is the concept. We have defined customers after that, we spent some time defining concepts, and then we discussed how we put it together. So, we had this thing where we answered what is it that a CVP does, and now I am going to show you 2 or 3 if I methods by which you can put it together. So, a little short recap, which is that value propositions target a well defined customer segment. They are a bundle of products and services. The best words that we use are offerings, which is what is it that startups are offering to their customers. It describes why a customer should buy, and it describes why a customer should buy over and above or instead of competition or other alternatives that they might have. We concluded the last lesson by talking about how value propositions can be quantitative, which means better than, faster than, cheaper than, more efficient than, etc. So, those are quantitative. Increasingly, or maybe that is my lens to the world, I find that most propositions are qualitative, which are customer satisfaction, customer experience, service delivery, the softer aspects of a product, even if it is a high tech product. How is it that we do hand holding with customers, how is it, all those kind of things, including things which are much better known as qualitative parameters, which is like the design of a product, the ergonomics, which is how easy is it for a customer to use the product. Ergonomic and intuition are just words used for describing how easy it is for a customer to use the product. So, there are several which are qualitative. Quantitative are easier to understand. The challenge with quantitative proposition is, today I will say that I am saving 10% energy, then the other person will say, oh, but now I save 15%, and then it is a game that never ends. So, I personally, like I told you in the last lesson also, prefer the dimension of differentiation, which means I am different from my competitors, rather than a one-on-one superiority. Superiority is great to have. If you can do it in your product and you can continue to build it every time such that you will always be superior, nothing that can beat it. But if not, try and take a dimension in which you are different, but one which is not just different for the sake of being different, but is also relevant to a customer. So, this was just a recap of what are value propositions. This is my first format or template. It is called an elevator pitch, and I will first explain what is the meaning of an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is, elevators are the words Americans use for lifts. We say lift and Americans say elevator, just something that takes you vertically from ground floor of a building to whichever floor that you are on. The concept of an elevator pitch is your young employee, graduate trainee in an organization, you have finished lunch in the cafeteria and you have got into the elevator or lift, and you are lucky that your boss's boss is also in the elevator, and that person vaguely remembers seeing someone like you because they were part of some orientation that was done, but she is not able to recognize exactly who you are, but she knows vaguely that you are one of the new batch of trainees who have joined. So, this is the context. You have joined maybe 1 month back, and so the senior manager asks the new joinee, hello, how's life, or what's up, or something as broad as, tell me how you like it, or something like that. And you have 60 seconds at your max to make an impression. All you have is between the 2nd floor and the 8th floor for you to make an impression on your skip manager. One skip manager is not your immediate, but one level higher. So, skip manager. And do you think you will do a great job of it? I am not sure, because most of us are not ready or prepared for a situation like this. So, we will end up saying some what are called inanities. Word is a tough one, I will try and find a easier one. Means regular normal stuff. Life is good. This is a nice company to work for. I like my job. Nothing that was of any consequence was said in that 60 seconds. Instead, you could have used those 60 seconds to say, thank you for asking, or thank you for checking in with me. I am working on a project which is about automating a factory in so and so place which works on some robotics, whatever, and I am fortunate to have been placed on this project and learning a lot and contributing. In fact, last week we came up with this idea XYZ, same 60 seconds. Instead of saying nice company, nice job, nice lunch, nice lift, we are now saying that I am working on this project, I am grateful I am working on this project, we are working on a key thing for this customer, this place, it involves this, and I could make a contribution by suggesting this, and then my teammates added this, not to show off. You did little show off, that is fine, but you also said how you all work collaboratively together. Please think about in which of these elevator pitches did the senior manager form a better impression of you. Most senior managers won't form impressions because they won't even remember. But if you are that one person who stands out and makes an elevator pitch like this, you will be remembered. Yeah? And some of this we will come to when we cover communication, but I use the elevator pitch to explain to you that it is a maximum, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा you have 60 seconds and you need to be prepared for it. Okay? So, here is an elevator pitch format for a customer value proposition, and I will read it. It says that some brand helps some customer segment solve some problem by offering some solution that is better than its competitors because of differentiation. So, same, we are just आगे पीछे घूम घूम के we have been saying the same things. Who is the target segment, what is the problem we are solving, what is different or superior about our solution vis-a-vis competitors. Okay? So, but just now one is trying to get you to actually write this. If you have an idea, for example, my senior citizen daycare idea or your own idea, whatever idea that you may have, you should practice and you should write something like this. So, here is one that I wrote. Don't want to take any brands, but let me read this out to you. XYZ gives coffee lovers the satisfaction of drinking cafe type of espresso coffee without having to go to a coffee shop and spending all that money. I am going to read it one more time. XYZ gives coffee lovers the satisfaction of drinking cafe kind of espresso coffee without having to go to a coffee shop and without having to spend all that money. So, implicit in this statement is that the competitor is a coffee shop, because I am not that regular machine, I am a superior machine, but I am not competing with that sasta wala machine. I am competing with giving good coffee, good espresso coffee, which is almost like what you get by going into a coffee shop. Yeah? And how am I better? I don't have to, by using my machine, you don't have to walk to a coffee shop, which can be a pain. And more importantly, you don't have to pay all that money. The difference of coffee at home or at office is that it is much cheaper than what you go to a coffee shop and buy. So it just stayed true to that format, saying XYZ, customer segment is coffee lovers, evolved market, everybody drinks coffee, but someone who loves, actually it could have said espresso coffee lovers instead of just saying coffee lovers. The satisfaction, that is what we give. We solve of drinking cafe kind of, what is our solution? Cafe kind of espresso coffee, that is our solution. And it is better than competitors because I don't have to go to a coffee shop and I don't have to spend all that money. That is all captured in this one line. Maybe I'll, in the end of the class, if I have time in the end of this session, I will try one for my senior citizen daycare. But more than that, I leave it to you to write yours for the idea that you have. And even if you don't have an idea, come up with some idea, like I just randomly came up with the senior citizen daycare idea, so that you can practice. So the whole purpose of this lesson is practice. Listening to me doesn't help, so I am going to stay for a couple of minutes and just read out the important things. You have to give it a name. This name may not be the final name, but even when you are talking about it at the early stage in your startup journey, give your product or your brand a name. And give it a name which is evocative, which makes you feel good, which makes the customer feel good. It helps dash customer segment. So in our thing we called it espresso coffee lovers. Solve the problem. The problem was, I get coffee at home, I get coffee at office, but it doesn't taste like the coffee I get in the coffee shop. Says the satisfaction of drinking cafe kind of espresso coffee, and the problem is I don't have to go to the store and I don't have to spend all that money. So it's a very classical example of how a customer value proposition can be written. It is both left brain and right brain. The left part of our brain is very logical. So it explains logically that I don't have to spend all that money, I don't have to spend all that time, and it gives me the same kind of coffee. So that is the left part. The right part of our mind is more intuition and creativity. So here is a word like satisfaction. So a customer gets satisfaction. I mean, coffee is not something we do finger licking good with, but a lot of food advertising talk about how food tastes so good. There are brands which are beverage brands which will always show condensation, dew or a droplet on the bottle, which is their way of making your tongue hang out and want that product at this point of time. So, a lot of it is appealing to your left brain, which is the logic and the rationality, but a lot of it is appealing to your senses, is appealing to your creativity, your intuition and your immediate senses. So, one format of the customer value proposition is the elevator pitch. Another format is just what I call a concept. It's a written concept. It's a longhand written concept. Okay, it has 4 inputs in it. It has, I'll come back and explain every one of them. It has an insight, it has a functional benefit, it has an emotional benefit, and it has a reason to believe. An insight is a very tough thing to find. An insight is something which is inside, मतलब दिख रहा है पर सबको नहीं दिखता है. And insight is just, the English word is in and sight, but only some of us can see it and the rest of the world cannot see it, and therefore it becomes so precious. An insight is something that answers a why answer. Why do people behave like this? It is not what they say, it is what they mean, is what they think, is what they mean. So an insight you get by asking a few why questions. You can't ask too many whys also, because people will get irritated after a point of time saying, you're behaving like my 2-year-old son asking why to everything. But somewhere between the first why and the why problem is the reality of finding the nugget ऐसी चीज़ तो बाकी लोग नहीं जानते हो. An insight is something that is hiding in plain sight, but other people haven't thought of it this way. You yourself will say, oh my God, I never thought of it like that. So that's an insight. Functional benefit is the left part of the brain, rational, logical, why by me? It answers the question, why by me? And the reason to believe is, why do I, if you are offering this benefit, why should I believe that you offer this functional benefit? So it is again a very logical, it's a double click on functional benefit. I want that functional benefit, how do I know you are offering it? Because you do da da da. So we'll see an example of that. And then emotional benefit is, how does it make me feel? How does it make you feel? That is what an emotional benefit is about. So here is an example from a snacking category. I love to eat between meals, but it's not always easy to make the healthy choice when it comes to snacking. So this is a customer who is evolved enough to say ki I am not the 3 time a day eater, which is the breakfast, lunch and dinner. I snack in between, and it's not easy for make this choice on health when it comes to snacking. But implicit in this line is, I am not going to give up snacking. Yeah, that is implicit in this line. The product says, I am XYZ crackers. We are a tasty and healthy way to snack between meals. This is, I would have not said tasty, I would have just stayed with healthy, because they were not fighting a tasty problem. They were fighting a problem of being, the thing I want is healthy. Yeah, but this is how somebody had articulated it. Yeah. And this is the reason to believe, because XYZ crackers are made with the goodness of carefully selected ingredients and have 8 essential vitamins and minerals. So again, if I just stay with healthy, 8 essential vitamins and minerals are the reason to believe that yes, XYZ crackers are healthy. Yeah? And this is the emotional benefit. For me, this is the most important part, which is these crackers make me feel good about snacking. You know what is the tension in that line? The tension in that line is because by definition snacking is unhealthy. Snack mane unhealthy. That is how our brains are wired. A lot of people have told us, and the whole world has told us snack equal to unhealthy. And therefore, when I snack, I eat it, but then I feel bad. I think I have done the wrong thing. Yeah? So this brand XYZ crackers allows me to feel good about snacking. Yeah? And so the title of this concept is called Feel Good Snacking. So it has an insight which is implicit here, like I told you, was that this person is not going to give up snacking. So we have to give you a better snack, we have to give you a healthier snack. XYZ says I can give you a healthier snack, I can give you a healthy snack. My crackers are made with the goodness of some carefully selected ingredients and have whatever vitamins and minerals, and that is my reason to tell you that we are a healthy snack. Okay? And the payoff, it is often called payoff, gratification, mila kya, what did the customer get? The value the customer got was not about the taste, was about feeling good about snacking. Apne ko kosa nahi, did not curse themselves later. They said, I know that I won't give up snacking, I feel good snacking when I eat XYZ crackers. So this is a concept format which is text. The previous concept format is more oral concept, meaning elevator pitch. Somebody says this one is read typically. If I want to test this, I will write it exactly the way it is and then go and show it to a potential customer and see how they respond to something like this. So 4 parts: the insight, what is the functional benefit, what is the emotional benefit. For me, the reason to believe is, if you need something, if it is taste, I can't write about taste, because there is no, the reason to believe in taste is only the tongue, muh mein dala and then I figure out. But health, I can say it has calcium, magnesium, whatever, and people will believe that is healthy, because they are healthy, they are known to be healthy. So again, insight, functional benefit, if needed a reason to believe for the functional benefit, and most importantly an emotional benefit, which is what the customer's value is which is the emotional gratification or the payoff that the customer gets. My third format for a customer value proposition is a visual format. So here is a visual format. I don't even think, or actually forget think. I don't think you can read the text, but I don't even think you need to read the text. This simply says guilt is good. And it says some brand called ecstasy, go ahead, give in, indulge. And it has an image which makes you want to eat that chocolate now. So this is a visual format, and this is equally good. So when you want to write whatever is in your mind, and you will find that you are writing this at all the stages of development. So you are writing it at your idea phase, after you have done some work on who's your customer, what is it that they want, you will write a version. So customer value proposition is a dynamic one. It changes as you learn more, and it changes as customers engage with you more, and it's the best if you can co-create with them. This is another one which says best enjoyed alone. This is very different from I don't want to share my chocolate, is best enjoyed alone. It has a name at the bottom, and I think it says not for sharing. That the whatever is written under best enjoyed alone, I cannot read it, I am not even attempting to read it, but what is written under brown it I can read, and it says not for sharing. It sounds like such a selfish concept, right? But in chocolates people want to be selfish, they don't want to share. So that's the insight. And the insight, and this was a brand I worked on many years back, neither were the final names that we chose for the brand, but what we found was that the market leader had created this industry on the basis of sharing, and had left a space for young people who were saying, we don't want to share our chocolate. For us, if someone asks me for it, I feel like, why? I'd rather buy another one for you, but I don't want to give you part of my chocolate, kind of thing, right? So that's the insight that we worked on, best enjoyed alone. We were going into a even higher order space, higher order from an indulgence space, saying guilt is good, there is no problem with guilt. By the way, I do food because it comes very instinctively to me, and the previous one was health, and this one is about indulgence. Those are the two things which work on health. If I go back to the Maslow psychological needs, I told you at the base of the pyramid is food that fills one's belly, middle of the pyramid is this, which is taste, maybe slightly higher order is indulgence, and health is after you have done indulgence and you need to get back to fitness, then you do health. So just going back to combining some of the concepts for you, what are the needs and how do you fit those needs. So this is another format which is a mostly visual format. There are no rights and wrongs. If you don't have, I mean in today's world, all of us can use Gen AI and create images and create thoughts, and you should use Gen AI as a co-thinker, but not as the only thinker. So co-pilot or whatever is the word that is relevant, that makes sense to you. It is something that Gen AI works with you, but the final thinking is yours. The final creativity, thought, expression are yours. Gen AI only gives you options, gives you some thoughts, tells you why this could work, but finally you're the master of your fate, you're the captain of your ship, and you need to figure out what is it that works for you. Three concepts: the elevator pitch, which is verbal, oral, the text format, which is concept, and a visual format again of a different kind of concept. Yeah. Why customer value proposition? It sharpens your thinking. You are no longer saying I want to create this product for this 1.5 billion people in India or the entire world. It sharpens your thinking. It sharpens your thinking around what is the actual problem that customers face. It does not let you think about it from a product point of view. So we are no longer creating the product. We are thinking of what is the problem that customers have, who are the customers we are talking about, and how do we better understanding of problems and needs, and therefore a much better detailing for product development. So this is what customer value proposition does. You start with an idea, go on and understand the problem and the opportunity much better. you understand and sharpen your understanding of who's the key customer segment, and in their lives where are the bigger problems and which ones can you address. And therefore, when you have written the proposition in the elevator pitch format or the text concept format or the visual concept format, you are now ready to write your product detail, so that now you can start working on your product. Till this time, I would not recommend that you work on product at all. You should work only at understanding the customer and developing the product brief, which is the first stage that goes into product development. Thank you.